Choke on that.
Hello, and welcome to SquaredEyesT.V. Today we're going to cover the 2012 action sci-fi film, Dredd. It's directed by Pete Travis, the same talented mind who gave life to Oma, Endgame, Legacy, and The Go-Between. As most would agree, Dredd remains true to the spirit of the comic character, making it one of the best comic book movie adaptations ever created. This dark, gritty, and violent action thriller uses a cyberpunk theme, top-quality violence, and sensationally beautiful visuals to become a masterpiece in its own right. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, this should definitely become part of your to-watch list. And if you're liking this video, remember to hit like and subscribe. Now, the story is set in a dystopian world, with America turning into an irradiated wasteland called the Cursed Earth. Inside its walls, 800 million people live in the ruins of the old world and the megastructures of the new one. The only things fighting for order in this chaos are the men and women of the Hall of Justice, the judges who act as judge, jury, and executioners. And here's a fun fact for you. A news ticker from a television broadcast mentions that Judge Palmer has used a stun grenade on a Fergie Memorial riot, subtly referencing the comic book characters Judge Palmer and Fergie. Judge Dredd was patrolling the streets of Sector 3 when he responded to a distress call. Control has flagged 3 perpetrators after confirming their identities and discovering they're wanted on multiple counts. Fun fact, when the rap sheets for the perps were shown, it indicated Judges Magruder and Griffin as the arresting officers, characters from the Judge Dredd comics. Another fun fact, during the car chase, you can see a leather jacket behind the driver's seat with the inscription, Drock, slang in Dredd comics commonly used in profanity, like, get the Drock down, or, you little Drocker. Pursuing the said vehicle, Dredd reports that suspects are under the influence of narcotics when he notices that they're driving erratically. Well, one of the criminals started shooting at him, but when they ran over a person, Dredd took immediate action. Here's another fun fact for you. While the perps were shooting at Dredd during the car chase, they drive by a billboard for Joe Soap, which is a subtle reference to the said character whose writers Joe Wagner and Alan Grant created for a comic book called Ego about a terrible private detective. Dredd shot their wheels, to which the vehicle skidded and crashed. When he checks on the suspects, 2 of them have died from the crash, while the other one escaped to a nearby building. Dredd chases after him, who's holed up in the food court with a hostage. He tries to negotiate with the suspect, guaranteeing his life in an ISO cube without parole if he stops resisting. When he refuses, Dredd shoots a heat-seeking bullet into his mouth, and his face melts from within. Fun fact, did you notice the corpse of the fat guy next to the unicycle at the entrance of the building? This is actually a reference to the fatties from the Dredd comics. Chief Judge later calls him in to assist with evaluating rookie Cassandra Anderson. Chief Judge explains how Cassandra lost her parents at the young age of 7. She was immediately given a judge aptitude test when she became an orphan, but was deemed unsuitable. Regardless, she entered the academy on special instruction, but her record was never better than borderline. Dredd wonders why she's in uniform, to which the Chief Judge then asks Cassandra to demonstrate her psychic powers. A police officer with psychic powers reminds me of Ghost Fighter. Well, the Chief Judge explains how she's the most powerful psychic they've ever come across by a considerable margin. With the judges losing the war for the city, she believes Cassandra would become a major asset. That said, she asks Dredd to take her into the field for an assessment to see if she would pass as a judge, while Dredd takes Cassandra under his wing and explains the criteria of her assessment. He describes how she'll be expected to perform on-the-spot executions of convicted felons. He lists incorrect sentencing, disobeying direct orders, and losing her primary weapon as warrants for a failure in the assessment. On the way to patrol, Dredd explains how there are 12 crimes reported every minute, which comes to a total of 17,000 crimes per day, of which they can respond to only 6%. With that many crimes being reported, how are you supposed to even resolve one in a minute? My goodness, talk about forced overtime. Well, how about another fun fact for you? Did you know that Peachtree's was named after the restaurant where writer Alex Garland and creator John Wagner first met to discuss the movie? Cassandra was given liberty to decide which cases to take, to which she chose to respond to a triple homicide at Peachtree's. Since when is being homeless a crime? Well, after inspecting the bodies, Dredd finds traces of a cold burn from a slo-mo inhaler. The paramedic explains that slo-mo is an addictive new drug that makes the brain feel as if time is passing at 1% of its average speed. Imagine yourself being tortured by falling in slow motion and feeling as if it would never end. Control informs them that their victims are confirmed felons with records of possession of narcotics. Cassandra suspects that with their victims drugged, skinned, and displayed in public, she believes that this is actually a punishment killing to set an example for the others. Suddenly, the paramedic interrupts their conversation and believes that this is the work of the Mama clan. Fun fact, did you know that the background music when the scene is in slow motion is musical vignettes that are slowed down? The paramedic has a positive ID on their leader, Madeline Mama Madrigal. Seriously, why do they always portray bad guys as having bad teeth? Dredd explains how they have a record of her time as a call girl from the Pleasure District in Section 9. The paramedic explained that she stopped working when she got sliced up by her pimp. Rumors say that she got him back and feminized the guy with her teeth. And I'm pretty sure you can imagine what that means. But if you're still not sure, I think it meant Mama bit and took a chunk out of his hot dog. Ouch. The paramedic then explains how not so long ago, Peach Trees had 3 main gangs: the Peyote Kings, the Red Dragons, and the Judged. When Mama arrived, they took them out, starting from the top floor and working their way down. 9 months later, she controls everything from level 1 to 200. Cassandra wonders how she gets away with it, but the paramedic explains how they barely get any judge to come to Peach Trees. Here's another fun fact. Did you know that the chief judges arrested the 3 gang leaders in Peach Trees at some point in the Dredd comics? Judge Magruder, Silver, and Francisco. Given that their victims are all from level 39, they decided to start from there. After confirming where they operate, Dredd and Cassandra decide to raid their drug den. They break down the door and shoot all the armed men. Violence in slow motion is pure horror. While restraining and preparing them for transport, Cassandra discovers that Kay was the one who carried out the executions. Unable to obtain 100% certainty, Dredd takes Kay in for questioning. And another cool fun fact for you. Did you know that when Dredd and Cassandra stormed the drug den, a young Sylvester Stallone lookalike was in the background smoking a cigarette? Mama discovers that Kay is being transported for questioning. Worried about what he would tell the authorities, Mama orders her men to attack the building's control room so they can have their hacker tap into the system. Under the pretense of a DEFCON systems test, Mama orders the entire building locked down, sealing all doors and windows with no way in or out. After tapping into the communication system, Mama tells its citizens to hide while they flush out the 2 judges that are inside. She then threatens to kill anyone in their families if they're caught helping the judges. With everyone steering clear and gang members slowly surrounding them, Dredd and Cassandra force their way to the medical center. They use a gas grenade to blind their attackers and swiftly take them out. When the hallways are blocked, Dredd gives them one final chance to turn around, but when they refuse, he uses a stun grenade to immobilize them and guns them all down. Their fancy weapons make G.I. Joe look like kids playing soldiers. Once they finally arrive at the medical center, the paramedic refused to open up, worried about getting caught in their war with the Klan. And another fun fact, when Dredd tells them to put down their weapons and that they have 20 seconds to comply, it's actually a subtle reference to the line said by the robot Ed 209 in the 1987 film RoboCop.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
Well, with the medical unit no longer an option, Dredd suggests switching to silencer mode and going covert while looking for a place to defend. As they climbed higher, they kept running into gang members sweeping floor by floor. Cassandra tricks one of the citizens into letting them in. Once the gang members have left, Dredd suggests securing the witness, but Cassandra explains that she has a baby and worries they won't know when she'll be freed. The woman promises not to alert the others, claiming she just wants them far away from her family. She points them toward a supposedly broken service elevator, but she claims it works if they use it to reach level 75 and above. Another fun fact, there's chopper graffiti on a wall, which references Marlon Shakespeare, who's also earned the nickname the Midnight Surfer, as he's one of the world's most famous sky surfers in the Dredd comics. While Cassandra and Dredd are working their way up, Mama's hacker catches them on surveillance, to which Mama then orders him to seal them on that floor. Trapped, Dredd instructs Cassandra to wait by the elevator shaft with their prisoner Kay while he checks the situation. Now, is it just me, or is Dredd suspiciously way too calm about everything? Even the way he walks, he looks like a robot, which strongly reminds me of RoboCop. Dredd later discovers that Mama has assembled rotary cannons on the opposite side of the block. When she spots Dredd, they quickly riddle the entire level with bullets, killing everyone caught in the crossfire. And another fun fact, before they start shooting at Dredd, graffiti was on the wall. Minty is the law, a subtle reference to Judge Minty, the first judge rumored to have taken the long walk into cursed earth. Cornered, Dredd fires a powerful high X to a collapsing outer wall, to which they then escape. When they get outside, they discover that it's a skate park where the kids hang out. Making it outside, Dredd calls in and reports what happened, requesting backup. When Mama sends Caleb and her men to check on their bodies, Dredd takes them all out and pushes Caleb off the ledge in front of Mama as a threat. Later, Dredd finds an empty room Furious after what happened, after forcing a lockdown on an entire block, Mama went ahead and massacred hundreds of people just to kill 2 judges. He suspects that Mama is doing all she can to kill them, worried that Kay will be taken to Sector House to be interrogated. When he's about to torture him for the information, Cassandra stops him and claims she can get the information with her powers. After attacking Kay's mind, she discovers Peace Trees is a manufacturing base for all the slo-mo in Mega City 1. She reveals that Mama controls the production and distribution of said product. If you thought that was scary, wait until Professor X or Jean Grey gets into your head. Meanwhile, Judges Volt and Guthrie show up, claiming to respond to a distress call at Peace Trees. Hacker explains how they're currently in a DEF contest, but when that isn't enough to convince them, he tells them that they've had a fire, which makes them lose control over the system. Another fun fact, did you know that the American flag only has 5 stars, representing the 5 North American megacities? Mega City 1, Mega City 2, Texas City, Uranium City, and Las Vegas. Instead of waiting around for backup, Dredd suggests they attack Mama. A couple of teenagers capture them off guard and hold them at gunpoint. During the confusion, Kay jumps on Cassandra and takes her hostage. Dredd is forced to take down the teenagers with a stun gun, while Kay escapes with Cassandra and takes her to Mama. Worried that the Justice Department would eventually blast through their doors, Mama suggests killing one of the judges while leaving the other in the slo-mo den, making it seem like it was just a bust that went wrong. Another fun fact, there's a Kenny Who graffiti on the wall, referencing a comic book character. Kenny is a Scottish artist who came to Mega City 1 hoping to publish his work. Well, suddenly, the hacker tells Mama that Dredd has hacked into one of their terminals trying to access the PA system. He claims he can shut it down, but if they let him talk, he can track down where he is. Dredd then calls out to the citizens, who provokes Mama by telling them that she's not the law, but he is. Hacker tracked down where Dredd was talking from. Gang members slowly approach the terminal booth after gunning it down, only to discover it was a dummy. Meanwhile, Dredd looks down on them from a higher level and fires an incendiary to kill his pursuers.
Incendiary.
Sheesh, is there nothing that this gun can't do? This would be like the ultimate weapon of choice if it had unlimited ammo. Here's another fun fact for you. Did you notice the Chrysler's Mark poster when the thugs attacked the terminal where Dredd was supposed to be? Now this is actually a subtle reference to Judge Child, a boy named Owen Chrysler. Grown tired from the cat and mouse chase, Mama tells her men to call 911. Later, 4 judges, Judge Lex, Kaplan, Chan, and Alvarez, make their way towards Peach Trees. They run into Judge Volt and Guthrie, who are initially sent to respond to Dredd's distress call. They explain how they've been waiting for control to recover their system and open the blast doors. When it finally did, Alex relieved the other 2 of their duty and claimed that they would handle the situation. When they were planning their cover story, the paramedic went out to tell them what happened when he was suddenly shot in the head. Not shocked by it, as everything seemed fishy when the blast doors opened when they arrived. After negotiating 1 million credits for their services, Lex orders Kaplan to stay behind as protection detail for their client, while the others go ahead and handle Dredd. While Dredd slowly works his way to the top, taking down unsuspecting gang members when he runs into Judge Chan. He's relieved to have reinforcements arrive, especially when running low on ammo. Dredd later finds him suspicious when Chan fails to ask where his partner is. Chan pins Dredd to the wall with a chokehold.
2 of us called in the 1024. Wondering why you didn't ask about the other one.
But Dredd breaks free when he shoots his foot and breaks his collarbone. Man, it was so satisfying when Dredd made him eat his words. I guess, choke on it literally. Meanwhile, Kay's excited to have a judge's weapon and plans to use it on Cassandra. She taunts him to do it, but when he pulls the trigger, it blows up when the fingerprint Touch ID fails to recognize him. That was stupid. That's a highly advanced weapon, so of course, it would have some security, or it could easily fall into the wrong hands. Well, she then breaks his neck with a kick and escapes from her cell. Kaplan looks for Cassandra, claiming that she can catch her off guard, being a judge and all. When they finally run into each other, Cassandra realizes that she's a corrupt judge and shoots her before she can betray her. Here's another fun fact for you. When Cassandra was in Kay's mind, she planted the idea in him by letting him shoot her with her sidearm, which later proved helpful. Dredd finds the lab and quickly takes down the armed guards, worried that the other judges will make their way toward him. When they try to surround him, Dredd catches Judge Alvarez off guard and blows up his head with a high-X shot. So, now with only 1 judge left, Dredd runs out of ammo and hides behind a wall. Judge Lex finds out where he is and uses armor-piercing bullets, to which Dredd takes a shot to the body. Now I'm curious as to what the other bullets their weapons have. When Lex is about to finish the job, Dredd asks him to wait while buying time. Surprised by his odd request, he's suddenly gunned down from behind when Cassandra shows up, which Dredd already predicted. With an open wound, Dredd quickly does basic field dressing on himself, using some paste to stop the bleeding. He then used a stapler to close his wound. Ready to end this once and for all, Dredd and Cassandra storm Mama's base after stocking up on ammo. They run into the hacker, who begs them to spare his life. Cassandra discovers with her powers that he was only being forced to obey Mama and decides to let him go. After obtaining the passcode to Mama's apartment, they slowly work their way, shooting down her guards one by one. And another fun fact for you. Did you notice that Mama's apartment had a judge's helmet on the gun rack behind her? This proves that she had a contact within the Hall of Justice. When they finally face her, she's already planted the trigger on her arm. She reveals that the entire level is rigged with enough high explosives to take out the top levels of the building. She claims that the trigger is synced to her heartbeat and will detonate the explosives once it stops beating. Typical supervillain stuff. If you can't beat them, you blow yourself and others up with you. She claims that they have no choice but to drop their weapons, but Dredd refuses to negotiate with her and shoots her in the stomach. He then picks up a slo-mo inhaler and asks her what the range is on that trigger, and suspects that it wouldn't get through 100 levels of concrete. He then picks her up, gives her a puff of slo-mo, and pushes her off the glass. If falling for a minute is scary, imagine yourself falling for an hour. With the battle over, Dredd tends to Cassandra's wounds and heads for the exit. The blast doors finally open, and they're greeted by judges who show up to deal with the cleanup. Dredd claims that her assessment is over, but Cassandra turns in her badge before he can give her the results. She quickly assumed that she failed after losing her weapon decay. Chief Judge shows up and wonders how Cassandra tested, to which Dredd explains that she passed.
She's a pass.
What seemed to be a very long night was only a day in Mega City 1. Cassandra walks away, still unsure of her future, while Dredd walks to his bike and starts the day again as an officer who upholds order, a judge. And one more fun fact for you. Did you know that the reflection in the Hall of Justice's exterior spells McMahon? A nod to Mick McMahon, a comic artist from the Judge Dredd comics. Another tower block references Wolf Sternhammer, the often cheerful Viking turned bounty hunter from the comics. And guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit like and subscribe. Make sure to tap that bell to be notified about all of our latest videos. And with that, we'll see you next time.